Drug Schedules in Texas Explained, a beginner's guide to Schedule 1 through 5 substances and their legal significance. When it comes to drug laws in Texas, one of the most important things to understand is how the law categorizes controlled substances. Every illegal drug, or even legally prescribed medication with abuse potential, is classified into a schedule. These drug schedules are part of both federal and Texas law, and they play a huge role in determining what kind of charge you might face, how severe the penalty is, and how prosecutors approach your case. Today, I want to go over some of these drug schedules, what they are, and what substances fall into each category, and why knowing the difference can make or break your potential defense. What are drug schedules? They're a classification system used by both the federal government and the Texas Controlled Substances Act to group drugs based on three main factors: medical use, potential for abuse, and the risk of addiction. The lower the schedule number, the more dangerous or addictive the substance is considered, and the more severe the penalties for possessing or distributing it are. For example, Schedule 1 drugs have no accepted medical use and a high risk of abuse. Schedule 5 drugs are considered to have a very low potential for abuse and are commonly prescribed. Texas uses these schedules along with penalty groups, which form the basis of how offenses are charged. For a full breakdown of penalty groups, please see my guide to the Texas Controlled Substances Act. Schedule 1 drugs in Texas. They are substances with no currently accepted medical use in the United States and have a high potential for abuse. Some examples of these types of substances are heroin, LSD, ecstasy, MDMA, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, synthetic cannabinoids, certain types. They are illegal across the board. No prescriptions are allowed. Most Schedule 1 drugs fall into penalty group 1 or 2 under Texas law: possession, manufacture, or delivery, and that could be charged as a felony even for small amounts of these substances. These are the drugs that carry the harshest penalties, especially when tied to charges like trafficking or manufacturing. Schedule 2 drugs in Texas. They are drugs with some accepted medical use, but with a high potential for abuse and dependence. For example, oxycodone, Percocet, hydrocodone, Vicodin, Adderall, or fentanyl. Prescriptions are allowed but strictly regulated. Unlawful possession or distribution leads to serious felony charges. Most Schedule 2 drugs are categorized under Penalty Group 1 or 1B. You can be arrested even for having a legitimate medication like Adderall or oxycodone if you don't have a valid prescription in your name. This is a common scenario in prescription drug fraud. Schedule 3. They are substances with moderate to low potential for physical and psychological dependence. These are less dangerous than Schedules 1 or 2, but are still controlled, such as anabolic steroids, testosterone, ketamine, certain barbiturates, and Tylenol with codeine. Legal significance. Misuse can lead to misdemeanor or felony charges depending on the quantity. It's often classified under Penalty Group 3 in Texas. Offenses involving Schedule 3 drugs are common in juvenile drug cases, especially when pills are shared among friends. Schedule 4 drugs in Texas. They are substances with a low potential for abuse and low risk of dependence, such as Xanax, alprazolam, Valium, diazepam, Ativan, Ambien, or Tramadol. They can be legally prescribed but are easy to abuse. Charges depend on quantity and context, and most are Penalty Group 3. Despite their low abuse classification, these drugs are at the heart of many first-time possession or doctor shopping cases. Unlawful possession can still lead to felony charges. Schedule 5 are drugs with even lower potential for abuse than Schedule 4 and are commonly used for medical purposes, including over-the-counter mixtures with limited narcotics, such as cough syrup with less than 200 milligrams of codeine per 100 milliliters, antidiarrheal medications with small amounts of opium. These can be legal with a prescription, but unauthorized possession or misuse is a crime. These usually fall under Penalty Group 4 penalties, which are lower, but conviction still creates a criminal record for you. Even possessing a friend's cough syrup prescription can lead to trouble if you're pulled over or searched by police. To understand how vehicle searches escalate, see my post on driving with drugs in your car, what you need to know. Why the schedule matters in your case. The drug schedule will often determine what charge you face, misdemeanor versus felony, whether you're eligible for probation or diversion, how aggressively prosecutors pursue the case, what your defense strategy should be. For example, a first-time possession of less than 2 ounces of marijuana outside of a drug-free zone is a Class B misdemeanor. Possession of less than 1 gram of cocaine or methamphetamine is a state jail felony. Possession with intent to distribute any Schedule 1 or 2 drug can become a first-degree felony, 5 to 99 years or life in prison. If your arrest involved more than one substance, the highest scheduled drug will typically drive the charge and sentencing. What if you're caught with a prescription drug? This is more common than you'd think. You could be arrested for carrying pills outside of the original bottle, even if they're yours. Police don't know if they're really yours if they're not in the pill bottle. Forging or altering a prescription, going to multiple doctors for the same drug, also known as doctor shopping. Even if you weren't using or selling the medication, intent doesn't always matter. The mere possession of a Schedule II or III substance without a valid prescription can lead to a felony charge. This is a common theme in prescription drug fraud in Texas and conspiracy charges in drug crime cases where individuals are accused of assisting others in obtaining drugs unlawfully. So schedule versus penalty group, what's the difference? While both refer to how drugs are categorized, they serve different functions. Schedules 1 through 5 focus on medical use and abuse risk, used in federal law and informs Texas classifications. Penalty groups 1 through 4 are used by Texas state law to determine specific charges and penalties. Think of it this way. Schedule equals medical perspective. Penalty group equals legal consequence. Understanding drug schedules is more than legal trivia. It's a key part of defending yourself or a loved one in court. Whether you're facing a first-time possession charge or a serious distribution case, knowing the schedule of the drug involved can shape your entire defense strategy. Talk to a qualified defense attorney near you.